are privileged that Dr. Biswajit Saha, who's at the helm of the affairs, when we talk about school education in India, he is the director CBSE, which is the largest confluence of the youth and the teachers and the education ecosystem in India. And he's taking care of both the training as well as the skills. And both are very important segments. So we extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished guest, Dr. Biswajit Saha, and I hand over the word to you, sir. People are awake even at 12 a.m. in Texas. Those were responsible to take care of Honorable Prime Minister when he went to Howdy Modi, and they were the one who took care of entire thing, and they want to be partner in our education empowerment and ecosystem as non-resident Indian, our brothers and sisters across the globe. Dr. Biswajit Sahaji.
Good morning and good evening, because we are in different time zone. And first of all, Makar Sankranti's, Pongal and others festive seasons, good wishes to all the viewers. Professor Vivek, Mr. Tyrone, Major Gulshanji, Colonel Cassie Menon, and all eminent dignitaries who have joined us today to this virtual medium. It's really a proud moment for all of us, and especially to celebrate the Pravasi Divas. Although Gulshanji has narrated North India, but it is always Pravasi Divas is we cannot distinguish North India, South India, because when outside India, it is all united India. So with this spirit, let me just narrate the recent initiative, because with the recommendations and that policy, what new education policy is really trying to cater or visualize that new India. So they are as a implementations body, Central Board of Secondary Educations are definitely taking pivotal role while implementing these policy recommendations. So first and foremost, what we envisage in terms of foundation literacy and numeracy missions, we already come up with agenda, and in fact, by 2025, we are aiming that all our CBSE affiliated schools are FLN ready. So in these missions, I think a lot of collaborative efforts are required. And the second agenda is with reference to school quality assessment and accreditations. Because with reference to the collegiate educations, university educations, the body like NEC and other NBA, so these kind of issues are already being addressed by this regulator. So at this point of time, CBSE primarily we want to become a kind of state regulatory authority for initially for Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan and JNB, so that quality parameters are well set. And at the same time, for all our independent and privately managed schools, how that quality parameters can be ensured. So there are a lot of considering this UDICE 2 at present CBSE's WASIS database is asking for several parameters. Now, based on that existing things, we are going to empower the schools to self-assess themselves. First and foremost is their own assessment, and without any bias and in a non-threatening manner, how schools can comfortably look into this parameter, and whether they are fulfilling all these parameters. Honestly, they have to come out. Then only the benchmarking of the schooling is possible. Now, initial phase, we may not come out with the grading and other things, but in principles that in the pilot phase, we are training the teachers, training the principals, because with the help of our National Institute of Education Planning and Administrations, we come out with a comprehensive plan on pedagogical leadership. So principals no longer as an administrator, how he or she can become a pedagogical leader. With that respect, we in the first phase, we have trained all our principals to become a pedagogical leader. And then we have given them a time for 3 months to practice in the schools, no matters whether in the pandemic period, the online way also, how they conceive that idea and each and every respects of the documentations parameter on their own they have prepared. Then again they come to before the mentors to present their own pedagogical plan. So at present we are just addressing the second phase of the pedagogical leadership training program, and this is in sync with this school quality assessment and accreditation. And along with that, during this pandemic time, there are a lot of initiatives, the pan world, especially Australia, America, Canada, UK, different premier universities professors has taken our virtual master classes for CBSE school teacher and principal. So the vibrancy across the globe, whatever way the peoples are managing these situations, managing the change with reference to the 21st century skills, with reference to the pandemic, with reference to the psychological well-being of the student. So all those parameters we try to address through our teachers training, besides the domain specific specializations, because there are the northeast representative is already addressed, and I, as I am from Tripura or and also studied in Arunachal, I have seen the different hilly terrain and especially the bandwidth issues earlier. Now of course there are massive changes, but even then there are a lot of things we need to address gradually. And the comprehensive plan of Government of India through BharatNet and other organizations, we are definitely trying to minimize this gap. And that's why through Diksha platform, there is a possibility of asynchronous learning with the minimum bandwidth. Of course, the user interface and other issues, definitely it may not be so lucrative, but the basic requirement of the student teachers through NISTA NCERT's NISTA training program, there are a lot of good quality contents are there. Only thing is that we have to advocate to utilize this content, both the Swayam content as well as the content readily available in Diksha. So CBSE and CRT primarily trying to look into these aspects of teachers' capability development during the pandemic times. And I would be happy to listen more than 20 lakhs 50,000 training hours we have completed during this last 1 year period. And so massive teachers quality is focus of the CBSE, how we can uplift them and also keep them tuned during the pandemic time, because most of our training usually happened in the physical mode, but during pandemics, once we switch over to online, there are certain issues, of course, we are trying to address it differently. But even then, what we expect from this kind of gathering, that how this bandwidth issue we can address, and how through WhatsApp in low bandwidth domain we can really look into, so that in a collaborative way the good quality teachers training content, like the way the short video, especially the YouTube contents, the way it is penetrate through both through mobile phone and through other medium, I think that kind of mechanisms is more required at present days. So as a board representative, we are definitely trying to evolve to that stage, so that high quality contents at low bandwidth can be delivered to at any point of time. That proper asynchronous and hybrid mode of learning we can promote. And for that, the big tech companies to the eminent professors involvement is very much essential. So we alone cannot do all those things, because for the CBSE schools infrastructure, these are all good. But at the same times, we have to address how the philanthropy can be poured to the state-run schools, where the network infrastructure and other amenities are not that way equipped. So this is one ask from this Pravasi Divas. And the second component which the present government is highly advocating is the skill India promotion. because over a period of time, and as Gulshanji is trying to advocate the skill promotion in a manner, all these Asian countries representative he brought in different phases of time. So we know what our neighboring countries are doing and other developed economies are doing. So far, we are not able to put that image in the school systems, because the nation comes to the schools. Nations may not reach to the university because of that demographic dividend issue, and also the gross enrollment ratio is known to all the eminent personality who are present here today. So one way we are targeting to enhance the gross enrollment ratio, but at the same time, while the students are there in the school ecosystems, can we give them life skills, livelihood skills, so that even if they drop out because of the compulsion, because that number of seats school to university is not readily available and it requires time. So can we just equip them in a manner so that unka hunar is really available, so that wherever they goes with the entrepreneurship mindset. Wherever they goes with that they are skilled equipped. So with that things in mind, CBSE, of course, inherent core is new education policy. We are trying to address these issues gradually, and again, the data set is quite encouraging, because at present, out of our 25,000 schools across the multiple nations, India, as well as there are a good number of schools, we are present in Middle East, Japan, and other countries. So more than 12,000 schools are at present offering vocational program at secondary level, that is class 9 and 10, and more than 4,000 schools are offering at senior secondary level. Now, our target in terms of NEP is that 50% schools, 50% of the learner in the ecosystems, we must equip them with this skill. Now, that is a huge target. Now, one way, 12,000 schools from CBSE affiliated domain. Other way, approximately 10,000 schools, and some of them are also included in our figure, because the Sikkim, Arunachal, and Tripura's good number of schools are all Sikkim and Arunachal schools are affiliated to CBSE. And so that way, I think our target is under Samagra Shiksha projects and other scheme to promote the skill to almost all the schools of the country. So that number is huge. So there is a huge requirement of infrastructure. There is a huge requirement of good quality vocational trainer. So largely industry participation and technology-led intervention is very much required. The third component which I would like to address upon, how during the pandemic times we can conceptualize the virtual lab for vocational program in school. So who would be the nations where this kind of initiatives is already being taken? Can we bring all those best practices to India and customize for fulfilling the global requirement? There is a huge requirement of manpower, especially paramedics and health worker for Japan, Middle East, and as well as in the European nation. And that way, that manpower arranging with good quality training becomes a huge requirement of at this time. Now, at school level, that from 6 to 8, we are primarily focusing on offering some skill module. At present, we are offering approximately 9 to 10 skill module, and with the help of NCBT headed by Dr. Kalsi, we are working together to bring these things in a manner so that all the sectorial representative, industry representative, they are helping us to script a good quality skill module of 20 hours, which in addition to academic subjects, whatever we are offering in the ecosystem, every student can exposed to any of the skill module. It could be coding, data science, artificial intelligence, also design thinking or retail, or it could be organic farming. So we are in discussions with ICAR, National Institute of Fashion Technology, and all premier institute, how these national assets can be utilized beyond their academic program, whatever, maybe the graduate program, UG programs, whatever they are offering. Besides this, can those workshops be open for the unemployed or young adults between 14 to 35 or 45? So that lifelong learning, it is very easy to discuss in a forum. But unless is until we open those infrastructure for the common citizen, this is a big dream. So Skill India dream would be fulfilled only when the big and premier institutes open their door for the citizens and community. And in this regard, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Skill Development, both school and higher and other ministries are also, we are working together to bring this kind of narrative. And in January 1st, we started with a good number of schools, ITI, and then higher educational engineering institutes with AICT. So all those institutes have opened their door in the second half. And interestingly, CBSE's both government-run and privately managed schools, they have also started, rather already they have enrolled themselves to offer this kind of courses. So from February first week, we are planning to start the evening skill program under the Skill Hub initiatives of PMKVY 3.0. So this is a huge initiative by the government of India to utilize all the national assets, be it privately managed or managed by the government, for the common citizen. Then only the pool of skilled peoples would be available in the neighborhood. And there, the local requirement, national requirement, and global requirement, these three layers of requirements are being analyzed, and based on that, the people's aspirations, how we can convert it into economic dividend. So those discussions are going on, and we are already started implementing these things, and a good number of schools, college, university, both skill university and some private and government-led universities are also enrolled themselves in this mission. And Honorable Minister of Education, Dharmendra Pradhan ji, has requested in one meeting how IIT, IIM, and other premier institutes can also enroll in this journey. Then I think it will complete the circle. So through this forum, as Professor Vivek is present here, how that international diaspora can really help us to develop a virtual lab, especially for in the skilling ecosystem and the diversified area where Indian missions are separately working. They can tell us the nationwide requirement metrics in coming 10 years. Accordingly, school, college, and universities in India must be equipped so that ultimately we can fulfill both our national requirement as well as global requirement, so that both in terms of employment and entrepreneurial journey. So with this, I think let me pause here. There are a lot of discussion. I think Dr. Kalshi might have also addressed upon that credit framework issues. So there are, I think, mutual recognitions of school board degree, university degree, both in India and abroad, is quite essential. And for that matter, the National Higher Educational Qualifications Framework, in sync with the National Skill Qualifications Framework, how it is going to address the global issue and national issue. This is one pillar. And other pillar is through these mutual recognitions, can the credit earned or credit awarded by one university or one school board at one point of time can be recognized elsewhere. So there is a huge requirement of interventions and metrics evolvement. So there we are taking the inputs from diversified community, both in India and abroad. And I think more foolproof systems, it can evolve under the common umbrella of new education system. So let me pause here. I think there are a lot of things to discuss in a separate way. I will request Gulshan ji to have, instead of public meeting, we can have a some closed door online meeting with different dignitaries, so the common issues can be addressed, and also the mutually we can script the collaborations pathway for coexistence both in India and abroad. Thank you very much for inviting me here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. I'll just take 2 points quickly over here. If you can give me 2-3 minutes more. One point which you have told how NRIs can help in setting up virtual labs. That is one take which I'm taking. Secondly, you made very important point over here, Dr. Saab, that from first week of the February, you're going to start evening skill program under the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana 3.0, where the common citizens would be in a position to undergo. If it is not very secret at this stage, and if you can just share with us how many hours it's going to be there, how long is the total package, and how our chamber can support you, because we have got 12,000 educators from the world over as a resource person who can share their vision and their expertise. Because I'm just quickly telling you, Scandinavian countries have started a human library. It started from Denmark, it has gone to Finland, it has gone to Norway, and it has come to Sweden. Human library is the concept today. And that is not a traditional library where everything is silent, nobody talks, nothing. The human library is where a 60-year-plus old person comes, he talks his lifetime experiences, and they are ducktailed into the day-to-day life in the experience of the children. That's a human library concept which has come over there. We are a partner in that. That's why we are just sharing our chamber. So how that part, if you can give me a little more insight, the February first week evening skill program.
Yeah, this is already announced. It is nothing secret. Already good number of states, starting from Jammu Kashmir to others, they have already started this program under the flagship initiatives of Government of India. And here comes, we are showcasing the collaborations, because here both Ministry of Education, School and Higher Department, and Skill Development and Entrepreneurships, we together that mission has been launched. It is not in silos, and CBSE is also part of it. So our Kendriya Vidyalaya, JNB, they have already identified and started. We are now targeting EMRS, Ekalabya, these model schools for under the Tribal Affairs Ministry, and some private schools in the first phase. And later on, we make a public policy for this all CBSE affiliated schools. I think your inputs would be huge. And as you have mentioned, these human library concepts long back in 2002-3, I have written some letter to some German Chamber of Commerce. So these initiatives are already there. So 65 plus rather battalion, they can go to for 21 days to any country. Only their local arrangement need to be taken care. Rest of the things are being taken care by the chamber itself. So that concept is quite vital at this point of time, and how those battalion experience can be shared with the school goers or young adult, I think that would be fantastic. I'll look forward to take support from you.
Our chamber would be totally supportive. We would love to work very closely with you. I always found you very energetic, very passionate, very open, futuristic. You always see ahead. and training and skill both are with you, like the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Skill now under his one minister. Let's bring it together and we should work it. Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajanji, we will take your lot of support from there. He's our advisor in USA. So right from the Silicon Valley and all the places, that's why I requested him that you are coming, and JP Pandeyji has spoken for good about half an hour in the morning. So, a lot of inputs we are trying to take whatever best is possible. And he's awake till 12:30 a.m. in Texas. In Texas, please.
Dr. Saha, it was a very pleasure and to listen to your very lucid and scholarly presentation with this, which is very grounded in reality. And because it's, most of us here, we work in classrooms and labs and write research papers, but you're at the cutting edge, actually impacting the practice of higher education, sitting in the CBSE, which is such a venerable organization. We always, I was not a CBSE student. I did the state board, but we always looked up to the CBSE syllabus is the best in India. So, and there you are, working on the CBSE side of things. It's always a pleasure to listen to you, sir. And whatever, as I said, every Pravasi Bharatiya jo hai, there is always a little thing in them that wants to give back. And what better to give back than to your education, which is what brought us to where we are. So thank you. And we will always be, it will be a delight to work with you and of course through Gulshanji to help in the education cause. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Biswajit Saha ji, and thank you, Professor Vivek Shankar Natarajanji. I'm so grateful to all the dignitaries, those who have joined on this particular program. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.